In this video, we are going to see the exchange of respiratory gases with reference to partial pressure. Okay, first of all, we'll see what is the condition inside the alveoli. What is the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide inside the alveoli. Which is the principal gas that is coming into the lungs during an inspiration? It is oxygen, right? So, during a normal tidal volume of 500, that is during a normal breath, we are taking a volume of 500 ml of air into the lungs, right? So, this total volume of air is 500 ml, which is the tidal volume. And this volume is divides into different partition. It goes into different alveoli of the lungs. Okay, and since it is gas, it can produce pressure. Okay, so each alveoli will be experiencing a pressure of these gases. Okay, so obviously inside the alveoli also, since there is a transfer of oxygen into the alveoli, there would be pressure of oxygen. That is the partial pressure of oxygen inside the alveoli. Okay, so since the air is directly coming from the atmosphere in a massive amount, the pressure of oxygen, the partial pressure of oxygen inside the alveoli will be very much higher. Okay, and it value, the partial pressure of oxygen, its value is 102 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so in a mixture of oxygen and carbon dioxide, the partial pressure, the pressure of oxygen is 102 millimeters of mercury. Okay, it can also be 104. These all comes in a range. Okay, and the pressure will depends upon the depth of inspiration, how much volume is taken in. Okay, so we have seen the pressure of oxygen is 102 millimeters of mercury. And what would be the pressure of carbon dioxide? Inside the alveoli, the pressure, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide will be little lower when compared to oxygen. Okay, since these carbon dioxide are coming from the cell as a metabolic end product, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, the net partial pressure of carbon dioxide inside the alveoli will be little lower. Okay, and it is partial pressure of CO2 is 40 mmHg, that is 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so inside the alveoli we can see the partial pressure of oxygen is very much higher. It is 102 millimeters of mercury. And what about carbon dioxide? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so this is the condition of pressure inside the alveoli. Okay, and what about the blood that is coming into alveoli? We know that the alveoli is surrounded with a network of pulmonary capillary. Okay, and within this pulmonary capillary there is blood. Okay, what would be the condition of the blood inside the pulmonary capillary? Is it deoxygenated or oxygenated? Obviously it is deoxygenated, right? The blood that is coming into the lungs will be deoxygenated. Blood that is going from the lungs is oxygenated. Okay, yesterday, that is in the previous video, we have seen the circulation, right? The two types of circulation, pulmonary and systemic circulation. Suppose this is heart, okay, with 4 chambers. This is the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. These are the 4 chambers of heart, right? So, to the right side of the heart, the deoxygenated blood is collected from the systemic circulation, right? From the cells, the deoxygenated blood is emitted, and this deoxygenated blood with little partial pressure of oxygen and greater partial pressure of carbon dioxide reaches the right side of the heart, and from right atrium it goes to right ventricle, from right ventricle it goes to lungs. Okay, okay, so which type of blood is going into the lungs? It is deoxygenated blood. Okay, from the right side of the heart, this is deoxygenated blood. the line which is this dotted line indicates deoxygenated blood. Okay, so in here the partial pressure of CO2 is little higher than that of partial pressure of O2. Okay, the partial pressure of CO2 is 46 millimeters of mercury. And what about partial pressure of O2? Partial pressure of O2 is 40 millimeters of mercury. There is, we can see no drastic difference between this, but still the carbon dioxide is higher. Okay, in the deoxygenated blood coming from the right side of the heart to the lungs will be carrying partial pressure of carbon dioxide will be 46 millimeters of mercury, and partial pressure of oxygen is 40 millimeters of mercury. Just learn that this deoxygenated blood is having more partial pressure of carbon dioxide and less oxygen content, so less partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so this blood reaches the alveoli. Okay, so what is the condition of pressure inside the alveoli? The oxygen is greater, carbon dioxide is less. What about in blood? The oxygen is less, carbon dioxide is more. Okay, so we can see a pressure gradient here. Okay, while we are taking only the case of oxygen, here it is 102, here it is 40. That means there is a significant difference between the partial pressure of oxygen inside the alveoli and inside the blood. Okay, so the oxygen will transfer from where to where? From higher partial pressure to lower partial pressure. Okay, so I have just magnified one piece of capillary here, pulmonary capillary here. So here we can see the blood which is having low oxygen content and higher carbon dioxide content. So the higher oxygen content from the alveoli goes into the pulmonary capillary. Okay, since there is a partial pressure difference here, since there is a significant difference in the partial pressure of O2 in the alveoli, see it is 102 and here it is 40, right? So there is difference between 102 and 40. So gas always transfer from higher concentration, higher pressure to lower pressure, right? So from higher pressure of 102, it goes to a lower pressure of 40. Okay, so the direction of flow of oxygen is from alveoli to the capillary. And similarly, the same process happens in carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, here you can see 46, and inside the alveoli you can see 40. Okay, 46 and 40. So what happens? The gas moves from higher concentration in the blood to lower concentration in the alveoli. So the direction of movement of carbon dioxide is from pulmonary capillary into alveoli. Okay, this is the case of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is how the exchange takes place in the alveoli. Next we are going to see by means of this diffusion, the oxygen content in the air will increase, okay, resulting in the formation of oxygenated blood. Okay, so from the lungs, the blood is leaving into the heart. Okay, from the lungs or alveoli, blood is going into the left side of heart. Okay, that is oxygenated blood. The oxygenation takes place inside the lungs. After that, after this process of oxygenation, the oxygenated blood with higher partial pressure of oxygen and lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide goes to the left side of the heart. Okay, in this diagram, I'll just mark this. From the lungs, it goes to left side. From the left atrium, it goes to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it goes to the systemic circulation, to the cells. Okay, like that. So, it goes to the left side. By that time, this blood will be having much amount of oxygen. So, partial pressure of oxygen is very high. Okay. We can see partial pressure of oxygen 102 mmHg and partial pressure of carbon dioxide 40 mmHg. Okay, going all the way through the left side of heart. And this particular line, which is not, this is a straight line, not dotted line, right? So this indicates oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood. Okay, oxygenated blood is having by means of all this diffusion, oxygen is coming in and carbon dioxide is going out, right? So this blood will be rich in oxygen and lesser in carbon dioxide. Okay, and from the heart, where it goes to systemic circulation, that means into the cells. Okay, in the cells, what is happening? The cell is utilizing all the oxygen it gets from the blood for the metabolic reactions, and what does it eliminates? It eliminates carbon dioxide. Okay, as soon as it gets some oxygen, it readily convert it into carbon dioxide by means of metabolic reaction. Okay, so inside the cell, what would be the pressure condition of carbon dioxide and oxygen? From time to time, this oxygen is being utilized, and from time to time, this carbon dioxide is being released. Okay, so the partial pressure of oxygen, since all the oxygen is getting utilized, the amount of oxygen in this cell will be lower. So the partial pressure exerted by the oxygen will also get lower. So the partial pressure of oxygen inside the cell will be 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, that is low partial pressure. Till it reaches the cell, it was 102 mmHg, 102 millimeters of mercury. That much oxygen content was there in the blood. Okay, and by means of the utilization of cell of this oxygen, what happens? The partial pressure from 102, it decreased to 40 mmHg. Okay, and as soon as this oxygen is getting utilized, what is eliminated? The carbon dioxide is eliminated. Okay, so the pressure of carbon dioxide inside the cell will be little higher than that of the oxygen. Okay, and that is partial pressure of CO2 is 46 mmHg. Okay, so partial pressure of oxygen is 40 millimeters of mercury, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 46 millimeters of mercury, and after the systemic circulation, it gets collected into the right side of the heart by means of vena cava, superior and inferior vena cava. Okay, so this blood, this dotted line indicates deoxygenated blood. Okay, deoxygenated blood, that means more amount of carbon dioxide and little amount of oxygen. Okay, so the blood that is going into the right side of heart and into the pulmonary capillary will be having a partial pressure of oxygen, that is 40 mmHg, and partial pressure of carbon dioxide 46 mmHg. Okay, so the from this we can understand the exchange of gas is taking place because of the pressure gradient. Okay, because of the pressure difference that is established across the membrane, across the in here we can see between the alveoli and pulmonary capillary there is a pressure gradient, right? And in here you can see the partial pressure of here you can see the partial pressure of oxygen is little less and carbon dioxide is little lower. So what happens to the blood? Blood is getting deoxygenated, right? How it is getting deoxygenated? From the CO2 is eliminated here. So the CO2 goes to the pulmonary capillary and oxygen will drop into the cell. Okay, so this is how the blood turns to be deoxygenated. Okay, pressure condition inside the cell is little oxygen and higher carbon dioxide. Okay, so by this pressure change, what is happening? From the blood, the oxygen is going into the, since here low pressure, you can see it is 40 mmHg, right? The blood that carries 102 mmHg will provide oxygen into the 40 millimeters of mercury cell. Okay, so here there is higher pressure, here there is lower pressure. So what would be the direction of movement of oxygen? It would be from pulmonary capillary into cell. Okay, and the pressure, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, here it is 46 and here it is 40 millimeters of mercury of carbon dioxide. Okay, so what happens? The carbon dioxide from 46 goes to 40. Okay, so the direction of movement of carbon dioxide is from cell to the pulmonary capillary. So this amount, the blood which is having partial pressure of oxygen 40 and partial pressure of carbon dioxide 46 is going as deoxygenated blood to the rest of the circulation, to the pulmonary circulation. Okay, I hope this is clear. And one more thing, the involvement of hemoglobin here. We know that hemoglobin is the principal carrier of oxygen and also carbon dioxide. Okay, there is one condition of hemoglobin, that is, we know that hemoglobin comes in combination with the oxygen. It is only a physical contact. Okay, the hemoglobin, inside the hemoglobin there is one iron atom and this which is in ferrous state. Okay, this ferrous will combine with the oxygen, just only a physical combination. Okay, so that since this is a physical combination, it can be easily dissociated, easily attached. Okay, so this is how the hemoglobin works. And the hemoglobin dissociation and combination depends upon one factor. Okay, the hemoglobin will attach to oxygen only when the partial pressure of oxygen is very much higher. Okay, only when the partial pressure of oxygen is higher. And hemoglobin will dissociate with oxygen only when there is less partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, that means this we are going to discuss in the later videos, but just keep this in your mind, okay, to make this easy. So we know that the blood is having hemoglobin, right? The hemoglobin, the deoxygenated blood is getting into the alveoli. So the hemoglobin have to get oxygen from the alveoli, right? So this reduced form of hemoglobin, which has not yet combined with oxygen, is now going to combine with oxygen inside from the alveoli, right? So the hemoglobin will combine with oxygen only when there is higher partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so for example, inside the alveoli there is higher partial pressure of oxygen. So in that condition, the hemoglobin easily combines with oxygen. Okay, so the affinity of hemoglobin depends upon the partial pressure. Let me tell this again. The affinity of hemoglobin depends upon partial pressure. If there is greater partial pressure of oxygen, hemoglobin will be having greater affinity. Okay, hemoglobin will combine with oxygen if there is greater partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, and what is the condition inside the cell? inside a cell the partial pressure is lower. Okay, so what happens to the affinity of hemoglobin? Hemoglobin's affinity to oxygen will reduce and hemoglobin dissociate with oxygen. Okay, that is what we have noted here. Hemoglobin, this is a sign of dissociating, okay. So hemoglobin dissociates, separates with oxygen when there is partial pressure, lower partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so inside this cell you can see lower partial pressure of oxygen. So the tendency of hemoglobin is to dissociate from oxygen. Okay, so this is how the affinity of hemoglobin with reference to partial pressure. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. If you are having any doubts regarding this, you can ask.